Imagine committing a crime, and instead of being immediately sent to jail, you're told you have to wait, because the prisons are full, and not because of overcrowding, but because the country wants to make sure your stay is comfortable and rehabilitative. That's exactly what's happening in places like Norway, where in some regions, there are actual waiting lists to enter prison. And no, we're not talking about dangerous, overcrowded cells. We're talking about facilities that look more like university dorms or wellness retreats than what most people imagine when they hear the word prison. Let's start with Halden Prison in Norway, often called the most humane prison in the world. Halden doesn't have barbed wire fences, overcrowded cells, or aggressive guards with batons. It has forests, music studios, kitchens, private rooms, and even recording booths for inmates. Each inmate gets their own room, complete with a bed, desk, fridge, and flat-screen TV, and they're encouraged to cook their own meals, take educational courses, and build real-life job skills. It sounds wild, but here's the thing, it works. Norway has one of the lowest recidivism rates in the world, with only about 20% of released prisoners committing another crime, compared to over 60% in countries like the US. That's not a coincidence. It's the result of a justice system that sees prison not as punishment, but as rehabilitation. And that's why people in Norway aren't being thrown into cells right after sentencing. The system is built to help you rebuild your life, and if that means waiting for a proper space to open up, then you wait. Now let's compare this to the US, where prisons are often overcrowded, violent, and dehumanizing, and where the idea of waiting for an open bed in a humane facility is almost laughable. In many US states, prisons operate over capacity, people sleep on floors, have little access to education or therapy, and often leave worse than they arrived. And it's not just the US, in many countries, prison is a place of punishment, pain, and survival. But in Scandinavia, the approach is radically different. In Finland, for example, they've closed down several traditional prisons and replaced them with open prisons, facilities where inmates live in cottages, wear their own clothes, and even work jobs outside during the day. They're expected to behave like regular citizens, not criminals, because the goal is reintegration, not isolation. And the results? Incredible. Finland's reoffending rate is under 35%, and it continues to drop year after year. But wait, it gets even more interesting. In countries like Norway and Sweden, prison staff are trained more like social workers than guards. They're taught to communicate, resolve conflict, build relationships, and support inmates emotionally, because they see prisoners as people who made mistakes, not enemies to control. There are even therapy dogs, mindfulness programs, and art therapy built into the daily life of some prisoners. Crazy, right? But here's the part that really shocks people. Some Norwegians don't even mind going to prison. There have been documented cases where individuals facing homelessness or extreme poverty have committed small crimes just to get access to food, shelter, and warmth in prison. And no, that's not abusing the system. That's a sign that the system treats basic human needs as non-negotiable, even for those who've broken the law. So how did these countries get here? The key difference is that they treat crime as a societal failure, not just an individual one. Instead of asking, how do we punish this person? They asked, what broke in their life that led them here? And how do we help them fix it? It's not soft. It's smart. Because when people get out of prison and actually have a chance to succeed, they're less likely to commit crimes again, and society becomes safer for everyone. Now let's talk about cost. You might be thinking, this must be super expensive. Surprisingly, it's not. While it's true that per prisoner costs are higher, the long-term savings from lower crime rates, lower reincarceration, and better mental health more than make up for it. In countries with high reoffending, governments spend billions cycling people through the system again and again. Norway spends more up front, but fewer people come back. That's not weakness, that's strategy. Now I want to hear from you. What's the prison system like in your country? Do you think people should be punished harder, or helped to recover and reintegrate? And what do you think about the idea of waiting to go to prison, because the system values your dignity that much? Let's talk in the comments. And if this video opened your eyes, like it, share it, and subscribe to the channel for more stories that challenge what we think we know about the world. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.